and I don't want to talk about this running back, but I'm going to have to. We've got Alexander Mattison at RB23 versus our favorite running back on this podcast, Joe Mixon at running back 27. Eric, I'll throw it to you first.
Oh, man. Based on context clues, I hope that I am making both of you mad. I'll go with Alexander Mattison. I probably wouldn't have given this answer a couple of weeks ago in light of Cam Akers being traded for, right? Like high quality running backs are freely available on the open market. So for Minnesota to send out minimal, but draft capital nonetheless to bring in Akers, and there's the tie obviously to Kevin O'Connell there. I thought he was going to have a role, and he has had absolutely no role, right? As recently as last week, Alexander Mattison had an 82% opportunity share out of that backfield. So while Cam Akers is there, he's healthy enough and well enough to take the field. I mean, Alexander Madison's going to be like this kind of ugly, plotting, high volume, low efficiency guy for the foreseeable future for me, right? So I wouldn't feel great pressing the button on either of them and having them in my lineup. But of the two, I'll go with Alexander Mattison.
Yeah, speaking of high volume plotting running backs, I am gonna go with Joe Mixon.
Yes.
As much as it hurts my soul.
Wow.
I know it hurts my soul to say that, but I think that the offense in Cincinnati is finally turning the corner here. And Joe Mixon, he has week winning upside in his range of outcomes, which Alexander Mattison I don't feel like does. So give me the guy that I know can throw up a 50-point week at least once in the season. The rest of the weeks are probably going to look fairly ugly, yes, but it's going to be just as ugly as Mattison, I feel like. So give me the guy that gives me that edge of upside. Jake, what about you?
Jeepers. I never thought I'd see the day.
I know.
Eric, yeah, the little inside winky wink there is that Joe Mixon is arguably our least favorite running back in the history of running backs. But to hear you say that shook me to my core. I will say, with Joe Mixon, what I expected, because the last couple of weeks, we see the Bengals offense become the Bengals offense, or more of what we were accustomed to at least the last couple of years. Joe Burrow's healthy. He's thrown a lot. Seems like that should rise all tides. Mixon just kind of stayed stagnant. His output didn't really change at all, which is kind of strange to me. I would still hearken to say he has more scoring opportunities the rest of the season. I would disagree that he has more week winning potential, because Alexander Mattison, there is 2 weeks now, I believe back to back or maybe a week apart, where he should have had 2 touchdowns and just, fluked it right the fluke up.
Coulda, woulda.
Well, Joe Mixon hasn't even been in that situation to potentially have that over the last few weeks. So I will take Alexander Mattison with the promise. I kind of disagree, though, with Eric a little bit as well. So I'm disagreeing with both of you. See, I'm not just playing
well
nice.
Done.
Eric, I actually think Alexander Mattison is always another fumble away from being benched in favor of Cam Akers. But I would much rather have Mattison in my lineups until that happens and just say I'll roll the dice every week. With Joe Mixon, sure, it's more security for the rest of the season because he's the guy. But I'd rather take the shot on Mattison if I can't.